Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk about the new Moon Acolyte set and whether it's actually good or not. I'm Alcast from alcasthq.com. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell. This is a new craftable set from Southern Elsweyr up here. I will put the articles to the DPS parsers and to ESO sets into the link, so you can click on them if you want to check them out. When we are looking at the set, weapon spell crit, weapon spell damage, physical spell penetration, and more weapon and spell damage, and 5% cost increase. That sounds very powerful, especially for a crafted set. The 4-piece bonus, penetration, very juicy. The 5-piece bonus, 481. That's a lot, and if you add it up with modifiers and so on, it's probably closer to 550 or 600. It's very, very strong. But it comes at the cost of your abilities being 5% more expensive. So is it really worth it? On stamina, I doubt it, because Alcast, Relican, Torgwin, they're all so freaking strong. I don't think it's even a question. But on Magicka, it's a little bit different, because on a normal build, kind of normal, like you have a monster set, you use Perfect False God, Trials, Dungeons, and then you usually front bar Mother Sorrow, right? And now instead of Mother Sorrow, we use New Moon Acolyte instead. I did a few tests. Now please keep in mind, while I was using New Moon Acolyte, I swapped my champion points a little bit because we get an extra penetration bonus. We don't need anything in here, so I put it into Staff Expert. And the damage difference, basically 0. So we have, this here is New Moon 83.3 and this here is Mother Sorrow 83.7. I did a few others here, 87 or almost 88, but these are like with Siroria, full target dummy cheese build. So just ignore these. Looking at this, 4,800 spell damage and 66% spell crit, compared to 4,000 spell damage and 76% spell crit. So you basically have that full trade-off. Now, Mother Sorrow had 1,700 drain, whereas the other one had 1,850 drain. So you will have a harder time sustaining. Especially with the next few patches, it looks like Sauce wants to increase cost of abilities more and more. So it will become tougher to sustain, even more so. Even on this build that I have, I never activate this because it does enough damage anyway, and even then I have to use Spell Sim, right? To actually be able to sustain. Even though I'm using False Gods. I'm on an Altmer though, so I could also choose Breton to kinda balance it out even more, because Breton would be another 7% cost reduction. But even then, so I don't think personally it's worth it going through the troubles if you already have Mother Sorrow, and even if not, the only point not getting Mother Sorrow would be if you're too lazy to farm it or buy it. Like if you have a friend that could craft you New Moon Acolyte, then go for it. But most of the times newer players have sustain issues anyway, so I think Julianos would be still the better option, in my opinion. Looking at some of the max hits, Elemental Weapon 31.5, 34.2. Crystal Frag 66.5, 61. So the max hits, there's quite a huge gap, but obviously the crit rates are different, right? Like here we almost go up to 80% sometimes. That's a lot of spell crit. It's very powerful. So overall, I don't think it's worth using New Moon's Acolyte, especially because it comes with the cost increase, but it's definitely a nice set, because we also can use it like on hybrid characters and in PvP and so on. I think it's a very powerful set in PvP, as long as you can front bar it. Because in PvP you have more, like, you can place most of your very expensive abilities on the back bar and then use cheaper abilities on the front bar if you really want to. In PvP you would have to compare it with other sets like Fury or 7th Legion and so on, but let's not dive into this. So overall, it is a good set. but I don't think it's worth to swap it out for Mother's Sorrow. What do you actually think about this set? Do you like design about it, or like what would you like to see, like any change to the set? Because for me personally, I think it's nice that they come up with stuff like this. It's more powerful than other crafted sets, but it also comes with a downside. And I'd rather have stuff like this than proc sets. That's just my opinion. Anyway, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the juicy like button. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Cheers.